My name's Kevin Nichols, and I represent the Social Engineering Project. So the tech industry, as you mentioned, Kiana, has a huge problem when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion. There are various places where there's discrepancies. So 1 to 2% of Black people working in tech companies, et cetera. And there are a lot of different problems around that. However, for today's presentations, I'm going to focus on the first claim, which is there's an adequate pipeline of engineers and scientists in the field. Next slide. So the solution for this problem is the Social Engineering Project. It's an Oakland-based social impact venture with Stanford University designed to address the lack of diversity in the tech industry through STEM pipeline programs that lead to technical careers for underrepresented students of color. And we have a partnership, a unique partnership with Stanford University. My business partner is a professor there. He teaches teachers how to teach science education to underrepresented students of color. The name comes from a quote from Charles Hamilton Houston, who said, "A lawyer is either a social engineer or a parasite on society." So technically, you don't have to be a lawyer for the quote to remain true. You're either part of the problem or part of the solution. So we're going to focus on getting more young people interested in traditional STEM. So all the buzzwords when you hear about tech is usually associated with coding and software. What we feel is if you can't get past Math 1A, Chemistry 1A, or Physics 1A, then you're probably unlikely to go to college majoring in something STEM related. And then you're probably less likely to go into something technical when it comes to a technical career. So that's kind of why we exist. And our goal is to get young kids to fall in love with science at a young age. Next slide. So we have 4 programs currently. Our first program is Science in the City. And basically, that's a week-long day camp for 5th and 6th graders, actually at Stanford's campus. We do that with the School of Education and SLAC, which is the linear accelerator on Stanford's campus. This year, we had to convert it to a virtual experience. So we opened it up with a partnership with NSBE to the entire nation. And we focused on culturally relevant STEM regarding COVID research. So what the linear accelerator was studying at the lab. We also have an overnight camping conference that we take 120 high school students camping, and we have tech companies come up and teach them what they do for a living. They also learn mindfulness, they learn yoga, and I also have colleges and universities come up, talk about the application process and why they should go to college. So that's our overnight camp, and we're looking to convert that to a virtual experience this year. We also do family science nights, or what we call family science days, depending upon what time of it occurs. But essentially, if you look at the bottom left, this is an introduction to coding workshop that we did at Airbnb. And we also have something age appropriate for our high school students to participate in. And then we work with the parents on the kinds of activities and things that they can do throughout the school year to help support the spark that we're creating with our programs. The last program we have is we do an overnight camp, we do a global hackathon with the United Nations to stop human trafficking and cyber theft. So we organize the United States team and we compete against countries from all over the globe. Next slide. So our ask, we're looking for obviously financial support. We hire 8 college students to run our Science in the City camp. We also hire people that work in technology to serve as counselors for our overnight camp for the weekend. So we train them, do background checks, et cetera. That costs money and we need investment. We also need corporate partners. So there below, you'll see some of the partners that we have that have organized workshops, sponsored and or provided swag, prizes, and et cetera in order to support the programs that we're doing. And our last ask is we do need volunteers. We're hoping to scale our program this year from just a local experience to a virtual experience for the nation, and also interested in replicating what we're doing in other cities. So the question that I have for you all is, communication with school districts, schools, parents, and students is pretty poor from year to year. We end up seeming like we're starting over from scratch each year. And this can affect our enrollment for our STEM programs. How can we as an ecosystem work more collaboratively, sharing best practices and resources to support more students of color? Thank you.
All right, Kiana, you want me to hop in here?
Yes, I do.
Great. It's a pleasure being here. My name's Stefan Lallinger. I'm a fellow at the Century Foundation. I'll keep it at that. I want to keep the attention on Kevin and this fantastic program that you have. In particular, the thing that I think the magic to what you're doing is the students' proximity to what's actually happening, bringing students to Stanford, in the digital form, having students interact with folks from NSBE, which is a fantastic organization. I just think that's so incredibly powerful, and it addresses one of the biggest issues we have in education, which is this divide that exists between research and practice, right? We're asking, we have folks in the ivory tower who really want their ideas to penetrate, but you're asking them to put their money where their mouth is when they actually are engaging with real students. And I think that's incredibly powerful. And you have a fantastic set of principles that you're operating under. To your question, I'm not sure that I have a perfect answer to the question. I do think COVID has opened up new opportunities for us to communicate better as an ecosystem. Just out of necessity, we've had to. And that issue that you talk about channels of communication being disrupted from year to year is a very real one. But I think there are opportunities here to think about how we can communicate directly with stakeholders. I know a lot of parents and communities have opened up new channels with folks over the course of the past few months, and I think those are to be used and to be exploited for good. So I think that's a place to examine, is where have people seen success over the last few months. I'd be happy to, and we're very short on time, I'd be happy to chat with you offline and talk to you a little bit more about some of the ways that I've seen this play out over the past few months. Happy to put my contact information. But the big thing for me is you're doing something really wonderful, and I was really excited to hear about the fine details. So thank you.